going on, everybody? It's Friday night, November the 12th. Boy, that was some Disney Plus day. Ian, I guess you got to sleep through it.
It's November the 13th here. It's already bright and early. It feels like winter already. I'm not enjoying that. I left Canada to get away from this, and suddenly this year it's like, nah, you can have a Canadian winter too. Not having fun. No.
What's going on with you, man? It's been a while.
Yeah. I've been with everything going on in the world these days, it's just work, just trying to keep my head above the sand. And I am only just catching up on a lot of media these days within the last few weeks. I watched the Marvel movie Shang-Chi. I watched what's Shang-Chi? Yeah, Shang-Chi. I watched that this week, so I'm really behind on that. And I'm actually going to see the Eternals this weekend, so I'm just kind of getting back into the whole media thing and entertainment industry this month. It's just been a slog in the last couple months now. Yeah, but
I haven't seen Eternals yet.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of mixed reviews about it. But that's kind of everything now.
Yeah. Mixed reviews are kind of the norm. Everyone's really vocal about all their opinions, and opinions differ everywhere. For me, my opinions usually come from my students, right? So like they'll come in like, I watched Eternals. I'm like, don't talk about it. Don't do anything. Just even last week, I had a homework assignment for all my speaking classes, and the assignment was, please briefly describe to your class a movie you have recently watched, not thinking that Eternals had just come out. So 2 of my students had written about the Eternals, and I saw this at the front of their paper just as they were about to speak. I'm like, nope, you're not allowed to present your homework. You have an A, congratulations. And I've had to leave it at that, just to get away from the spoilers. But, the mixed reviews are what they are. I'm going in with an open mind, but no real expectations. I think ever since you and I saw Star Wars together, that was the last time I went into a movie with high expectations. I think I was like, movies are movies. They'll end up what they end up,
That was the movie where, like, it taught me to, if you're going to be involved in spoiler culture, if you're going to read leaks, always leave the door open for the leaks might be wrong. Yeah. Because then your expectations end up way up here, and you go in expecting one thing and you get something completely different, and it can really ruin the experience for you. Said, I don't mind reading leaks and stuff, but back then I definitely hadn't adjusted my expectations, and I'm kind of at fault for part of that, but I'm still not overly thrilled with that particular movie that I won't mention just to not turn anybody off here.
I think we're both at fault on that. We both hyped each other up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we're still talking about seeing Revan on screen, and it hasn't happened yet. So, although it sounds like we're getting closer.
A little bit at a time.
I don't know how it's taken them this long to get there, but yeah. I just want to let everybody know before we introduce Tommy here, that we're going to be sharing those images from the Kenobi. They're calling it a sizzle reel, but let's be real. It's not really a sizzle reel. It was basically a 1-minute video with concept art, which in my opinion is not a sizzle reel. A sizzle reel is packed with behind the scenes extras, and we got Ewan McGregor practicing his lightsaber stuff from a year ago. It's not even a new thing. So we will be sharing those images. So on the off-hand YouTube stops the stream, we'll apologize now. But we're going to get into Disney Plus Day. We're going to get into what's coming, what we've heard, and just geek out about past Star Wars things. So if you guys want to participate in the chat, feel free to do so. We'll try to be as inclusive as we can. Tommy B, what a Disney Plus Day, man.
What a piece of junk.
I thought you were going to say, what a peaceful day, and that nothing happened.
No, not really peaceful. I wouldn't use that word to describe this day. But, it's like you say, overhyping. That's exactly what happened for this. And we've kind of been going in skeptical about this for a while we were assuming we were going to get more Kenobi stuff, but we figured out in a pretty interesting way yesterday, of course, that that's probably it. That sizzle reel when it started leaking. So
yeah, I think
it is what it is.
I think the important thing to remember here, and I just want to take care of this homework here, if you will, and then we'll dive into all the geeky Star Wars stuff that everybody wants to dive into. Tommy and I did a Patreon stream earlier, or not even a stream. It was just a recorded video that went on Patreon. And look, when these YouTube channels and Twitter accounts put out reports of what's coming for Star Wars, which is whether anybody wants to admit it or not, a very volatile brand at the moment, and they get it wrong, it happens. It happens. We've gotten stuff wrong on Star Wars on Halloween. Thankfully, we've been far more right than wrong, but it happens. When you put something out there into the internet, you are opening yourself up to criticism. That's just the way it is. But there's a difference between being a little bit critical and going and harassing these men and women that run these accounts, that have gotten stuff right in the past. I've seen some pretty nasty shit on Twitter, and it doesn't benefit you to do that, like, at all. But to the people also running this content, it also doesn't benefit them to make up 10,000 excuses as to why it didn't happen and just not own up to it. So yeah, be nice. That's it. That's simple.
Well, that's been a sentiment that I think we've been pushing. I mean, at least you and I personally for years now. This community, especially Star Wars as a fandom, like it can get scary. At the end of the day, though, people are going to like Jar Jar Binks. People are not going to like Jar Jar Binks. People want Jar Jar Binks to be a Sith Lord. Some people don't. Opinions are everywhere in this, and whatever is not canon is up for debate. And as long as people are respectful towards people's opinions, and they are willing to listen to someone talk about it without chastising them, that's important. When it comes to media, somebody reports something, don't go after them if it doesn't agree with what you in your personal expectations want. Some of the oldest fans, we've had to go through some of the hardest hits. Having the expanded universe ripped apart from us is the biggest blow I think Star Wars as a fan base has ever received.
They're quickly backpedaling on that stuff, though.
Yeah, they are, right? And
well, maybe not quickly, but
we were just saying with Revan, like it takes a while, but it'll take a while. You know, it's all about a bit of give and take here and there, communication with fans and respect for fans. But likewise, the fans need to respect the industry, respect the process. Right?
That said, by the way, we're only on for about an hour tonight, maybe 75, 80 minutes. We'll see. I do think Lucasfilm, not necessarily Disney, Lucasfilm, because they still operate as their own property. They still need Disney approval on everything. But Lucasfilm is still a company. Their marketing is nothing short of incredibly misleading and overhyped almost all the time. And I want to get rid of the negative stuff first. And I didn't just come to run my mouth about it. I came with evidence. So when you tweet this out, when you tweet this out several times over the course of a week, hyping it up to be this amazing event that nobody can miss, which, by the way, I legitimately think the way that they did Disney Plus Day was horrendous. No live stream, just random tweets coming as the day goes. It's not really for me, anyways. I think most people were disappointed with how it was.
Don't forget that special sizzle reel was only available on Disney Plus.
Yes, it's hidden behind a paywall. That's correct. And it's not even new. It's what they showed last year at the investors meeting. Just the public didn't get to see it. So there's definitely some maybe not the most ethical things still going on with the marketing at Lucasfilm.
Well, the danger as well in just opening things up for random tweets is that you open it up for so much hearsay, right? Having a central stream being like, this is the official location for all your news is the way to do it. Because if you're relying on multiple different outlets to tweet official information, you're going to get people in the middle of saying like, oh yes, this is official information. It just, it is so risky, right?
It is, and you do run the risk of alienating your own fan base, which I mean they're not in the greatest of standing. And again, um, what happened with this movie this week? Again, not a good look. And again, that's not from, as John Campea would say, mom and John or mom and pop shoe shop or anything like that. It was coming straight from the Hollywood Reporter. That's worrisome because like Tommy and I have been talking about it, Ian. You and I haven't had a chance to talk about it, but like I'm at a point now where it's like I think everything they're doing on Disney Plus with their series is really good. Like it has beat my expectations.
Yeah. Likewise.
I'm not going to be convinced we're going to get another Star Wars movie. Like I know it's going to happen eventually, but I'm not convinced that it's going to happen soon until we're looking at behind the scenes photos of them on set of whatever production comes next.
A TV show or a movie?
Movie.
Yeah, okay. I wholly agree. Yeah. I think the way that Solo was received by corporate in their reaction towards it, that was a condemning moment for Star Wars movies. That was them saying, okay, you know what? Movies are dead. Movies are a thing of the past. We need to get away from that. And to some extent, I think Mandalorian is a TV show. I can't imagine transferring that as over towards a movie formatting, I like we talked about the finale together, like the emotion of that finale, season 2. That build up over the 2 seasons. Like that was so hard hitting for us in such a wonderful way that movies now can't get that. And it's weird because it's ultimately down to a skill in writing movies. That if it takes you 24 hours of a TV show to finish a story, right? Like that's fine. Doing that in 3 hours is possible, but it takes the right person. Doing that over 3 movies terribly, that's not an excuse.
Yeah, no. In
Right?
fairness, the Disney Plus series were advertised to be 1 hour long series before any of the Mandalorian stuff debuted. They quickly backtracked to whatever
Kenobi was going to be a movie.
Yeah, well, and then it was going to be 3.
Yeah.
It went from one movie. Again, I don't know how many people are caught up with the journey that Kenobi's been, and some people
It's been a long journey.
Yeah, if they see or hear that a production's gone through so many changes, you usually lose faith in that. Now, I'm trying not to lose faith in Kenobi because we just talked about keeping expectations in check, and mine are gone. It's gone. There's no saving me. But like, think about it. Kenobi started off as a movie where Ewan McGregor wanted to direct and star in it. They were not going to do that. And then it was almost a trilogy. And then it was like, no, we can't do that. And then it was going to be a movie that was directed by Stephen Daldry, which heavily featured, Tommy, you and I were talking about this, the Sand People and the Jedi or the ex-Jedi who goes and hides as a Tusken Raider. And it was going to be a him and Kenobi thing. And the Imperials were going to have very little to do with the story. Like,
A shard head Darth Crate from the EU.
I can tell you that when they announced the Kenobi thing at D23 a couple years ago now, what we're getting is not what was intended at all. Again, this is conjecture, speculation, whatever you want to call it. But anywhere that I've heard it from, pretty credible places, they've changed a lot with this show. Now, I'm thrilled that we're getting Kenobi and Vader again. And I think this is a pretty good place to dive into that. Just what are your guys' thoughts on an Obi-Wan Kenobi series set 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith? We know the big argument that's gone on between Star Wars diehards where it feels like a good portion of the fan base thinks Kenobi should never have left Tatooine during that time. And then the other part of the fan base says it's been 20 years. He could have left at some point. I can't wait for it. I'm curious to hear you guys discuss it, and then I'll chime in.
So, as far as Kenobi should never leave Tatooine, I was kind of a similar opinion, right? Because it's just something you feel like this should never happen. It's it's heresy to suggest otherwise. So then the idea was floating around. Well, what if Obi-Wan actually does the whole projection thing that Luke does in The Last Jedi? What if he does that, but he's more masterful of it? And that could also explain why he's a little more beat up physically. It just sucked the life out of him to a certain extent. We all know that's not the real reason. Alec Guinness was all blah, 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 but I personally, now where I stand, I just want to see him get off Tatooine. I don't care if he has to jack a ship. I don't care if he has a ship still hiding. I don't care about anything like that. It's Tatooine. That you can find a ship. I'm all good with that.
I think he may have one still. No, he ends up going back to the Tantive 4, right?
Yeah.
So he one would think Grievous' ship still would have been there. I wonder if that's what he carried baby Luke down in, because I don't think the Tantive 4 came all the way down into Tatooine. But that's another.
That might have been featured in a novelization, even if only in like a line. But yeah, they didn't show that in Revenge of the Sith how he actually got there.
If he goes in that ship, though, he does have hyperspace functionality, so he is capable of going places.
Sounds like he's going to go a lot of places by the looks of it.
And you know what? I think that's fine. I actually am of the mindset that I think it's going to start out with him on Tatooine, grizzled with the EP. We're going to see blue milk, like all the tropes possible on Tatooine. We're going to see it. We're going to see him probably interacting with Jawas. We might even see Tusken Raiders. We're going to see Tatooine, all of its elements that they introduced us to in the original trilogy, showing up in some way. Heck, we might even see some Sarlacc pit somewhere. At that point, though, there's going to be a reason to leave. It's going to be someone needs help.
I know the reason. I just don't know if you want me to say the reason.
I don't, because you already said you're a lost cause. Your expectations are gone now, and I'm trying not to let that happen to myself.
To be clear, though, they've already cast the part too. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I expect
probably a giveaway. So.
I don't know if it does. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Well, a little slight hint for you is that they have in the past, not on screen, but this is not the first time Obi-Wan is getting off of Tatooine during his exile. In the EU, he did get off, and he went and helped a surviving Jedi Padawan. I forget his name.
Oh, yeah, that was a whole series.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting. I didn't actually read the series, but it's an interesting storyline. It is.
Ian, I'm going to tell you right now, don't read the chat. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you don't want any spoilers, don't read the chat. But what's in the chat, just so we're clear, everybody, those that are looking at the chat, is, again, I confirm nothing at 100%. But I can tell you, like, that's 99.9% because they already cast a person in the role of that particular character. Yeah, there's that to look forward to. I think the reason he leaves is very, very good. But I'm with Ian. I think when this show starts, we know we're getting 6 episodes. Yeah. And again, they're beating us over the head with each one of these apparently an hour long. But yeah, are they really an hour long? Or are we going to see 6 35-minute episodes? That's the last thing I'd want to see is
no, I'd want an hour each.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually something like you'd regret that it would be so rushed. That's one of the things that, you know what, Disney Plus Day being very quiet. I understand there being hesitation with releasing anything official. With everything that happened with the what was the series with the Rebel shock troopers? They had to drop it. With everything that happened there this past year, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney was kind of like, until we're going and the project is like well through, let's stay quiet.
Are you talking Rangers?
Yeah, Rangers.
That's what
which
Rangers. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I
We
couldn't
don't think
remember
it's
the
been
name.
dropped. We think it's been pushed back in the release date. And it
But
sounds-
pushing back
Oh, for
is
sure.
the safer of options than being like, hey, be excited, here's the trailer, and then pushing another thing back, because they've already dealt with the blowback once this year, and so the quiet, I kind of almost get it.
You can
know.
be as for the sequel trilogy as you want, but that trilogy is messy because whether you love the movies or not, and I really, really like one, and I'm kind of on the other two, is you lock in filmmakers to a date,
Yeah.
and when things aren't properly planned out, shit falls apart. And I know people will be like, well, George Lucas didn't have everything properly planned out. And it's like, you're right. He didn't have everything planned out, but he did have his where he wanted to start and where he
Oh.
wanted to finish.
No, Lucas had it all planned out. You and I watched the episode 1 Phantom Menace behind the scenes. Like, you and I both know it was in his head. When he was doing the
for sure, but I'm
storyboarding,
I'm
it was
talking
a polished image.
like Han Solo having green scale.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Am I convinced he knew the whole story of episodes 1 through 3 while he was filming 4, 5, 6? Not
No way.
necessarily.
No.
But
But
he wasn't
something
super prepared. Like,
was there. Yeah.
and
By
it's-
the time that he came to the prequel, it was concrete. Yeah.
I also don't like. I'm not going to hate on J.J. Abrams. I'm not going to hate on Ryan Johnson, because I think at the end of the day, if those two would have been hired on to a project, and at the beginning it was Colin Trevorrow too, so it was 3 different filmmakers doing the trilogy. If they would have properly got everybody together and agreed, we're not starting filming until we have at least a basic direction planned out for the 3 movies, I think the results would have been a little bit different. But at the end of the day, all
I think it
3 of
would've been
those
a lot
movies
different.
made boatloads of money. I know Solo didn't, but those 3 movies made boatloads of money. And at the end of the day, no matter how much us diehards love it, it's about the dollar bill at the end.
They still provided us one of the most beautiful Star Wars scenes ever, though, with the jump to hyperspace through the Star Destroyers. That still breathtaking.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of that movie, and that shot is just
Masterful.
I remember being in the theater. I remember we got the warning.
Yeah.
Too. There's going to be a moment in the theater or during the screening. Don't worry, your screen's not glitching or anything like that. And
yeah,
I was like, okay, that's a weird warning to put out there.
It's pretty interesting. I didn't get any kind of warning like that, but
Really?
yeah, it makes sense.
Was the warning at the theater that we got that, or was that just conjecture before that we were talking about?
It was literally posted on the theater's website.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah.
So
yeah.
If you guys don't mind, let's pull up some of these images and speculate.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we're not the only ones that were disappointed with no Kenobi trailer today. O'Shea Jackson, who's in the movie, he was almost Lando, says, "Damn, even I was waiting for the Kenobi trailer, and I'm in the damn thing," which is some fun. That's some
pretty
fun.
good.
So there's a brief glimpse at some of the images behind Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Bottom left looks like an action figure. Just saying.
He looks far older in that picture than he actually looks in the series. So let's start off with these 4. I get it; they're not completely blown up, but the top left one, I want to remind everybody that the concept art, just because it shows 2 people fighting in a certain place, or just because it shows a certain character, doesn't necessarily mean that's where they are. Concept art sometimes uses placeholders just to get a direction across.
Visual reference, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people assuming that they're going to fight on Mustafar again, and they might, but I would say it's far from a lock still. The top left one, we believe, is an Imperial base. They showed this at last year's Disney Investors Day. It was just to the investors that got it, and it was described as, by the way, there was more images on that day than what we got yesterday. But they described it as an underwater planet. And
I was wondering what you guys could think it could be, because looking through the window, it's very clearly blue. Yeah.
Yes, it is blue. I've heard people theorize Jedi Temple. I've heard people theorize, forget the blue for a second. It looks like it could be Vader's castle in the shape of the main pillars that go up. I don't think it's Vader's castle, although it sounds like we're definitely going to see Vader's castle. I think it's exactly that, this underwater planet that we don't know much about, because this is going to be one hell of a journey. I also heard someone say that these photos or these drawings remind them of Blade Runner. And I said, sign me up. I'd totally be up for Star Wars looking like Blade Runner.
Yeah, I could get the Blade Runner in the bottom left for sure.
Yes, that's exactly the one that was posted.
Yeah.
I have no idea where that is, by the way. Even just looking at it, it's like I don't really know. The bottom right's very clearly Tatooine,
Oh yeah,
as is the top right.
probably Mos Eisley Spaceport.
Yeah.
Also with an Inquisitor leading the front.
Yep.
That's the Telltale helmet. Moisture evaporator in the top right, so that's definitely Tatooine. Obviously, we got the EP as well from Jundland Wastes. Bottom left has a speeder car, like land speeder. That's you want to know what? I wonder if that's Corellia.
Bottom left, it could be.
Hmm.
It could be. There is a
Could
shot
just be a whole new planet.
I don't have in our images for whatever reason. I don't think I do. Anyways, let me have a look. Yeah, no. So I'm missing a shot that is in the trailer that when I quickly saw it, I thought, oh my God, are we going to go to Nar Shaddaa? Are we actually going to see
Oh, that would be amazing.
It looked, and I mean, that would be the type of crowd he's trying to blend in with too.
Yeah.
It, again, concept art, pure speculation here. It looked like Nar Shaddaa. I'm going to see if I can find it. You guys feel free to talk about the pics.
Yeah, we've seen Corellia on screen in Solo, but we've never seen Nar Shaddaa, have we?
Mm-mm. Never. Nar Shaddaa, I think, only has been shown in video games at this point. Oh,
Yeah.
no, you know what? Has it been in one of the animated?
It might have been in Clone Wars.
Checking that.
Or maybe one of those quick Rebels episodes.
I couldn't remember where we might have seen it, but I would love to see Nar Shaddaa. That would be great. Nal Hutta we've seen, but Nar Shaddaa it's close enough. What would you think about Obi-Wan trying to chase down Qui-Gon in a sense and go into Malastare?
That'd be deep. That'd be a very deep
cut. We've seen it on screen yet. Nar Shaddaa. I'm looking at Wikipedia right now.
No, okay.
It might have shown up in the Clone Wars at some point, but I mean, it's animation.
I'm not saying listed.
But
it would be a quick 2-second snip if we saw it, but I don't think we have. I think Nar Shaddaa's greatest expansion and design comes from the Old Republic.
Yeah, and of course it could be completely different. So
yes, yeah. That being said, I don't know if they'd actually stray too far from the Old Republic. They're really pushing that. 7.0 updates coming with a whole revamp.
I did hear they're revamping some stuff.
Completely revamped. We could do a whole thing about that.
I was a bit disappointed with their heavily hyped 10-year anniversary bit, and then didn't deliver much.
Yeah.
Like Disney Plus Day.
Yeah.
They're good
Parallels.
Yeah.
I still love that game though, and under the right circumstances would definitely play it again.
Do you think the Inquisitor's presence could have a reason for Kenobi leaving?
Yes. Yeah. Again, I don't. So nothing's confirmed because we haven't seen it yet, right? So, but I can get into speculation if you want. It
Speculation's fun.
Speculation with the chance of it being true is very likely. But again, it goes back to that question earlier. Why does he leave Tatooine? If I answer one, I kind of got to answer the other. But you're almost answering your own question, kind of. So they did say, though, today in an official statement that they just wanted people to know is the story starts with Obi-Wan looking after Luke and then quickly evolves and avoiding Jedi hunters. That was their official release today, and which are Inquisitors, obviously. And that the show quickly evolves into something else. So you're still going to get that Kenobi on Tatooine looking over Luke. That's probably going to be the whole first episode, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Just to get an idea of where he is at and what his life is like, right?
It's going to be cool to see a baby Mark Hamill.
Yeah, he'd be 10. And I believe they've cast Luke.
Oh no! What if they change the canonical name of the Inquisitors to Jedi Hunters?
Oh, I
I don't
got it.
think they would, because that's the Inquisitors are also in Fallen Order.
I know, but it wouldn't be the first thing that doesn't work.
That's
I
true.
think Inquisitors works, but okay, I'm gonna pull it up here. There's actually a second one that I forgot about too. I'm so glad I did this because the second one lets you know that maybe Obi-Wan's gonna come in contact with a certain group long before A New Hope. And that's this one. This is from
Gonk.
this is from the Kenobi.
Love that. I mean, everything about it screams Hoth, but it's less white than you would expect
Yeah.
for Hoth.
I would guess that whoever Bail Organa is involved with at this time, because remember the whole Rebel Alliance wouldn't be together yet. This is probably his group.
That looks a lot like the concept for Star Wars Battlefront 2 2000, like the later one, not 2005. There's a map. I want to say it's Tatooine. That background building looks straight ripped out of the game. Similar kind of like awnings over it. That
Confirmed they didn't do their own concept art and they just stole from other pieces.
Why not?
Oh man, what map is it? Sorry, you guys go ahead. I'm gonna go look for this.
To me, it looks like they're in some sort of cave-like structure. That's not necessarily snow, and I do believe that wherever Bail Organa's people are, this is how Kenobi comes across those people. Most people thought that maybe he was out of the game for 20 years, but again, I think there's dialogue in the original Star Wars movie that leads to him having a conflict with Vader, and now we know it's definitely happening. They're still pushing that one. But this particular picture here, I think, really opens up possibilities because I think we thought he was going to be a loner. And then you see the incredible ensemble cast they put together for this show. And it's like, I'm no longer convinced it's going to be a loner show. I think Obi-Wan's going to have his own, inadvertently group of people he's with on this journey. And I probably wouldn't have high expectations on any of those people living. But because it just seems like if you know Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're probably going to die. Just ask countless people. But yeah, did you find it, Ian?
It wasn't Tatooine. I honestly think I'm thinking of Jakku, which is definitely not where it would be. But I've got the image in my head. Usually, whenever I see the structure, it's in the hero assault mode on videos because I haven't played it in a while. So that's why I can't pull the exact map out. But no, I can't find it right now. But it's screaming reminiscent of scenery from previously established Star Wars games that would be in a desert environment. So that could be a cave system on Tatooine because they've got plenty of caves.
It could be. Now
That would be very weird though because it's hot space.
I love the speeders, by the way. I love them in Empire.
Oh, yeah.
It's something different,
It'd be good to get them outside of snow.
It'd be
because
crazy.
people always call them snow speeders, but they're actually Rebel land speeders.
It ends up being I don't remember the crate. It'd be hilarious if that ends up being crate.
Oh gosh.
From the last.
No.
It would be interesting.
It's like, well, they did say it was, and I mean they do, but there'd be a different type of speeder, you'd think, because those speeders that they ended up using were not these type of speeders, and they so all right.
Before we continue, yeah. Zach asked in chat there, something they hope that they do with Kenobi as a character in the first couple episodes is a hesitance to draw his lightsaber out of guilt over what he did to Anakin. Could it work? What do you guys think? That's a good question.
I think people who want Kenobi to be wielding a lightsaber in every episode of this thing are going to be disappointed. I also think people that want to hear the name Obi-Wan in this series up until we get to the end are probably going to be disappointed. I firmly believe the character that Ewan McGregor is playing in this show, you are going to hear him referred to as Ben Kenobi far more
Oh yeah.
than Obi-Wan Kenobi. Even though I'm pro Obi-Wan over Ben personally, he's definitely going to go by Ben a lot. And hell, you might not hear Obi-Wan until either one, he meets
Vader.
Bail Organa, or two, Vader, right?
Yeah. Well, it's
And
been
even,
10 years, so he wouldn't go by Obi-Wan with Bale anymore. He would stick to Ben.
yeah,
We
that'd be
won't get
my guess,
Obi-Wan until we get Vader, probably.
just to keep him.
Yeah. Even then, I wonder if they're going to drop the whole "my old master" or something like that from Vader, and he won't even say Obi-Wan, because I think they're going to try and portray him as lost.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be crazy. Here's the
It's
real
going to be
question, fellas.
emotional.
Hey, it's gonna be. I'm gonna cry. I intend
Probably.
to live stream it too.
Just start sobbing.
Yeah. Oh my
It'll
God!
be,
they
it'll
killed
be, it'll
Obi-Wan.
be,
Can't stop the
it'll be
stream.
even more than the Luke scene at the end of the Mandalorian season 2.
They actually kill Obi-Wan in the series, and the Obi-Wan we got in the original trilogy's fucking clone.
Retcon. There you go.
Can you imagine George Lucas would have
The whole original trilogy is retcon now.
I'm poking the bear. All right. Is it Nar Shaddaa? I have my fingers crossed.
It's Coruscant.
Yeah, you think?
It doesn't have the haze. Now, obviously, it's concept, but like, Nar Shaddaa should have haze everywhere. It should be orange glow. It's not Coruscant. He wouldn't go back to Coruscant. That's just
Coruscant would be suicide. It would feel like.
Yeah.
Although, again,
that's what I was getting ready to say. I do not think he would
No.
be going back there in a billion years.
That's a classic line, Mike. Classic line.
These people in the cloaks. I know, concept aside, recognition from any of you?
No.
Because we see like in the Book of Boba Fett, we see Bomar monks. Like, that's cool to see them come back. But no, this is, I don't recognize them.
Yeah,
I mean, this could all be original too.
Oh, for sure. It could be some brand new planet, which they seem to usually go with. And we don't want to shrink the unit. It's not really shrinking the universe. Show us some places that we know of. Like,
Yeah, make us excited.
I think that, to me, it's two options. This is Coruscant, lower level stuff, or Nar Shaddaa, and we're too enclosed to get that. Oh man,
That glow.
Yeah, the fog, if you will, almost like this. Yeah. I'll say this though. Again, Ian, I don't know if you want us to talk about why Obi-Wan.
No, go ahead, man. I'm just being difficult.
Okay, so the rumor is, and I'm saying rumor simply because
it should be clear.
We just don't know, but there seems to be a lot of confidence behind this. Is everyone, was Luke, and it sounds like the reason he leaves is Leia. And it sounds, it sounds like, from what I understand, again, pure rumor. It sounds like Bail. This is where Bail starts to get into some trouble, and the Inquisitors take his daughter, not knowing, obviously, clearly not, and then we get Obi-Wan on a journey to try and get Leia back. And they have cast Leia. If you've ever seen the movie Bird Box, it's the little girl from Bird Box who is playing Leia.
Oh, okay.
So, and I think that's an amazing movie. And I thought she was wonderful in it. And so I'm looking forward to that. But apparently it's Leia. So you're gonna get Kid Luke, Kid Leia in this, and
that'd be nice.
It's cool. Although, in my opinion, Leia needs to be gone by the time Kenobi and Vader fight. This is my own.
She's got to be secreted away.
I've heard this nowhere. If I had to guess, the first 4 episodes, probably episode 1, you're just catching up with Kenobi, get an idea what his lifestyle's like, what his day-to-day life is, seeing where the character is at that point in time. And then the next 3 episodes, I do think is going to be your Leia journey. You need to go find Leia. He's going, and just be doing that is, from what I understand, it sounds like he's going to go to Vader and not the other way around. And I think that's cool. But I also don't think you can tell that story in one 50-minute to 1 hour episode if he's going to go to Vader. That needs to be at least 2. You got to give us a couple hours of that. And again, quality over quantity, but rushed storytelling often doesn't turn out good.
Mhm. I've actually been trying to draft out how I could see the pacing going. I definitely think episode 1's a Tatooine episode. I think by episode 2 we're going off planet. Episode 5, 6 I have listed as like chasing Vader / Mustafar Vader's castle. That's if they are going to Mustafar.
Yeah. See, I think a lot of people are thinking this is Mustafar, but to me, when you look closely in the
It could be an
background,
ISD.
it looks just like something's on fire, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like-
mean, look to the right, that kind of torn wreckage looking shape. That the rounded edges could just be pulled out steel beams. This could be in in atmosphere, low flying Imperial Star Destroyer.
No, for sure. I
How
think
would
it
he know
be-
his way around places so well when they go to save Leia in the first place? How would he know
Yeah.
his way everywhere?
That's
I've done
true.
this before.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. That's kind of hilarious though. Now, like if it is Leia that he gets off planet, so both times he gets off planet is because of Leia. goes to watch over Luke, and she's the reason he leaves the planet twice.
It would have good connection for her knowing contact him.
Yep.
He's her only hope, right? Like he's always been the protector for her. And
You know,
that
I
would
never really thought about
double
that.
down on
fact
his
that
need to come back.
She does reach out to him, but I think we
Yeah.
all just assumed it's because of Bale. But if she was already rescued once by him, yeah, and she knows immediately who Luke's talking about when he says he's come with Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
It's not like,
There's
some
history
stranger. Yeah. So, Tommy, thoughts? Thoughts, my boy?
You know, it's tough because you're taking the concept of Leia's connection to Obi-Wan that we've had in our minds for all these years, all these decades, as being just, well, Bale knew Obi-Wan, so that's how. And it could now become something more. And it's challenging to think about it that way, but it makes sense. But yeah, as for the images, as for locations, from everything we're seeing right now, if it's old, if it's new, I think I'm probably going to like it anyway. I mean, the worst thing they could do, honestly, is just give us all these old places that are near and dear to us, but are now ran by the Empire, but don't make that connection. Don't clearly communicate that. You know, we were just saying Coruscant would be like a suicide mission, right? And it would rightfully be. I'm not going to say it would be impossible for him to go there and
Bringing up the
do
Leia
some
thing,
stuff.
though, that might be something that makes him go back to Coruscant because, like, well, who else is going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, the Emperor is on Coruscant, right? That's his seat. So it's possible. Again, would she necessarily go directly to him, though? Possibly not. You know, there may be an Inquisitor ship she would go to instead. It's difficult, right? I don't know if they ever really fully established where children, inductees, indoctrinations, whatever, if they happen directly by the Emperor after the rise of the Empire, or do they go to like the ship? Because when the children were getting abducted during the Clone Wars, Palpatine had like that remote ship, right? And that's where they would all go. So it's questionable, but who knows what we'll actually see.
So let's talk about this next image, fellas. There's no doubt where this one is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And I think people have really wanted for years to see inside Vader's castle. But on top of that, to get to see inside Vader's castle with Vader in the castle adds a whole new dimension. I know we did in Rogue One, sort of, but we only seen really the chamber, and that was it. To see what else he could have in there, and it sounds like Vader's in this series a lot. I think, just again, there's no guarantee this even appears in the film or the series, but I sure as hell hope it does. This looks badass.
Yeah. Now, what I'm looking at, not like Vader's castle is very, 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 very clear just by looking at the like the viewport outside the window. It's who could possibly be talking to him on the hologram. Now, obviously, in concept art, holograms are usually really nondescript, and I'm torn between two possibilities. One, very likely, it's an Inquisitor. The less likely, but would be so interesting, a calling card from Obi-Wan.
That would be awesome.
If instead of going to
like
Mustafar, he gets in touch with him and he's like, "Come find me."
I think it would be cool if, like, I thought anyways, there was the possibility that he just had footage of Kenobi. Someone had gotten footage and he got a hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that Obi-Wan reaches out to him and be like, meet me here, sort of thing, that would almost be like the ultimate mic drop by Kenobi. And it already sounds like we're going to get some mic drop moments for Kenobi. I love that idea, man. That's fucking great.
It would
Something tells me they're going to drop the ball on that, though.
I mean, I don't mean to get anyone's hopes up by any means.
Hopes are already up, man.
Sorry. By the way, when at this time, my timeline's a little fuzzy in my head. Death Star 1 is already in construction by this time, isn't it?
Well, yeah, technically Death Star 1 was in construction at the end of Revenge.
The Empire wouldn't be on Coruscant.
I think the Empire would still be on Coruscant. I don't think the Death Star.
I think the Emperor's seat remained on Coruscant up until the fall of the Empire.
Yeah, to my.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, he wasn't on Death Star 1, which is why he survives.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Go there, but he never had the opportunity because the Death Star ends up getting finished finally in Rogue One, and as we know, takes place mere days before A New Hope. So. Yeah, no, I dig this. All right, let's shift gears a bit here. We're all excited for Kenobi. Just to be clear on the release schedule, again, I don't want to say that it's ironclad, but there is some confusion just because some shows started production before other shows, so you would assume that those shows would come out first, and that's not the case. So Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett debuts at the end of this year. The rumors we might get 2 episodes to start with, and I think there's 9 episodes and not 8, but we'll have to wait and see.
I was down for an extra episode.
It could be like a behind the scenes thing or something. Yeah. But so essentially, the Book of Boba Fett's a 2022 show. I mean, it's going to start this year, but it's going to really have most of its episodes next year. So you start with the Book of Boba Fett, and then I have these two kind of mixed up. I don't know which is which. It's either Bad Batch season 2 and then Kenobi, or Kenobi and then Bad Batch season 2. The rumored release date I've heard from Kenobi basically everywhere is May the 4th, which makes all the sense in the world because it's on a Wednesday and that's when Disney Plus releases new content. It's literally a Kenobi show. How do you not start it on May the 4th would be my question. I mean, if it's not ready to come out May the 4th, then that's how. But like if it is, you get that thing out there May the 4th. But yeah, those 2 shows would follow that up, and then we have Andor, which I think people thought we were going to get before Kenobi, but we're not. And the main reason for that is Kenobi was shot majority with the stagecraft technology that they use in The Mandalorian. They still did some traditional filming methods with Kenobi, where Andor, it's shot basically like they shot the prequels in the original trilogy, pardon me. There's next to no stagecraft involved with that, which means post-production takes longer. When you use the stagecraft, post-production takes far less time because all your time went into pre-production. So yeah, and then we cap it off with The Mandalorian, which sounds like will be a very late 2022 release.
Yeah, that's fitting. I would hope that they would do May the 4th Obi-Wan and not Bad Batch, just because when you hear the phrase "the Force will be with you" or something, or "May the Force be with you," it's Obi-Wan's voice. Like, I think for anybody who's the older variety of the Star Wars fans, it's Obi-Wan's voice always when it comes down to mentioning the Force. And I know May the 4th is post Star Wars release and creation. That was not like, oh yeah, let's make May the 4th the holiday before they release Star Wars. But just because it is now, I feel like that would be so nice. That's what I would hope for. But
He is
what I
the
hope for is
the original, the first
he is.
person to say that line. So
I want them to stretch that out too. I don't want no 2 episodes right off the bat. I don't even want the whole thing off the bat. Give us one 1 hour long episode for 6 weeks. Hell, if they even want to do something unconventional and give us 3, and then okay, we're taking the next 2 months off and we'll be back with the next 3.
Oh,
I would
no,
even be okay with that. Could you imagine the anticipation?
No, that's a terrible idea. I'm already bad every week having to do like the wait for a week. I'll get to work because my release schedule. I'll get to work on a Thursday, I think it is, and then the episodes will drop while I'm at work. So I'm at work getting it ready to watch as soon as I get home. And so I have to go through a whole workday talking to the kids like, guys, like, be easy on me today. My brain is already at home. Like, it's already bad enough.
I think you're asking for too much, Sean. I don't think you're going to get what you want.
No, I'm assuming it's going to
And
be.
I'm
one
not
week for
talking
6
about
weeks.
the 2 months. I'm talking about the 1 hour
hour
episodes.
long?
Just for what
No.
we've seen, what we've already had. I don't think they're going to do that.
Then this series will be lackluster. There's no. Take a look at the concept art and tell me you can do that in 6 30-minute episodes.
Okay, but look at the past performance, even on Disney Plus.
To be clear,
You
though,
say-
the one thing they have marketed this one for, again, doesn't mean shit if they go back on their word, but they've marketed the Kenobi series more like a film. The marketing started earlier, and they've described the Kenobi series as a special event and not your typical Disney Plus series, which is funny because I did hear a rumor that we might actually get physical media for the Kenobi series, which we don't get with the other series.
No.
So, I mean, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Why the hell wouldn't you?
Mando was an hour an episode, so I don't see.
No, they're not. There's a bunch of like 25 to 35-minute episodes in Mando.
Really?
I think there's only 2 episodes that come close to the 1 hour mark.
Well, I guess the season opener, I guess, would make sense for that. Then.
Season 2, yeah, the one with Timothy Olyphant.
Especially for the season 2 opener, that was very, very close. Yes.
Yeah, 45-ish. Yeah, I'm just looking at the episodes now. 30, 45. Oh. If it's 6
So I'm saying
episodes, I
there is
want an
not
hour.
a good track record. There is not a good
No,
track
but if it's 6
record.
episodes, I want an hour just because that would match the idea of having 3 movies.
Yeah, but you know what
Of
else?
course, we want an hour. Doesn't mean we're going to get what we want.
If it's 6 30-minute episodes, then it also matches 1 long movie, which is, oh man, it worries me. I want to get to this. I know we only got like 15 minutes left or so, but Mike Davis puts out there. I read a terrible article today. Disney blunders on relying on old characters again. I'll say this, Mike. I think there's more story to tell with the characters that were already created. Like you're about to get a lot of Thrawn. There's a reason why they're pushing him so hard in the literature, is because he's coming to your screen and probably
He's
sooner
so
than you
well
think.
written.
Lars Mikkelsen, by the way, from what I understand, unless that's changed. So you're getting that. You're getting more Ahsoka, obviously, more of the Rebels gang. You're getting Ezra. There's so much that they're bringing back into the fold here that I do think there's more storytelling room. But I think, Mike, they're right when they say they haven't been able to succeed with many new characters. There is some success, but for the most part, people feel like Finn and Poe weren't due justice in the new movies, if we're just speaking on canon characters. I thought Rey was okay until the last one. And I'm somebody who wanted her to be somebody and still found a way to be like, too Goku for me. Kylo was probably my favorite character in the new ones. But I shouldn't say we know. I'm going to treat this as rumor. It sounds like the next 2 Star Wars movies we're going to get are the High Republic and the Old Republic, and the 2 timelines tie together. If that happens, and if you remember what I said earlier, until I see behind the scenes photos of them actually shooting a movie.
On
I'm
set,
assuming
yeah.
nothing. But if that happens, that is their chance to start to build on new characters. I know you're going back a couple hundred years in the timeline, and just remember that means they also get to use Yoda if they go back with the High Republic, a younger Yoda, which they're jumping all over the bit to do that.
It's never done it for me. It has never done it for me, honestly.
A younger Yoda?
Envisioning- It has never done it for me. To me, Master Yoda is like the image of old age and wisdom and everything that comes with all of that. Like even in the High Republic novel, as I remember correctly, the first one is the one I read, which doesn't really feature Yoda, but it talks about him briefly. He's still counted as a more of a senior
for sure
Jedi among his peers and such. Although, but he's not the Grand Master. He's not the old age. I think he was like on leave from the Order or taking a break in the first novel. Actually,
I think he was overseeing something on another planet, from what I recall.
But still, like when I think of what I hear some folks want out of Yoda, like this all over the place, young, energetic, teenage-like character, right? It's like, I don't think you're ever going to get it, and I don't think it works with the Yoda we know.
Ian, are you caught up on the High Republic? I'm not. I've only read like 4 chapters. In the first
No, I'm not. I have honestly, I'm about halfway through the first book. Haven't actually been able to finish it. And again, it's just work recently. I'm just getting back into media again. And the High Republic is back on the top of my list of things I need to get into. So I am intending to get caught up on that. But I agree with Tommy. I don't think we would get like a renegade Yoda, like a young running around in the filth, like.
I'm not
Yoda.
saying.
I think. Yeah, I took what you were suggesting about a younger Yoda as just being just a younger Yoda, in that we're going back in time, not necessarily younger.
Just remember, he's a couple hundred years younger, but that also means he's still 600 to 700 years old. So
right.
I can see him like having a little bit of a limp to him and no cane. I could totally see that, but he's not going to be, let's go party, obviously.
I wonder how that would translate to his puppetry.
That's an excellent question.
Because the cane really aids well to the puppetry.
I know nothing on this.
Sorry, I can't imagine him upright, like moving his arms like a la Jar Jar Binks. Like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's weird.
The female character here on our thumbnail for this show, I might be killing the pronunciation of her name, but I believe it's Avar Chris.
You are correct.
Chris. Avar Chris, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the big character they've been marketing a lot of their material around. And even though I don't know anything about her, I like her look. And to me, she was described as more of an even more uptight Bastila who can be a bit more of a badass. And I was like, you know what?
I was going to say, she looks like Bastila.
You cast that character right, and that could be good. So they're going to have a shot at new characters here. And they have, their lifetimes to work with without any of the stuff that's out there already ruining them. The one thing we have heard, though, is it sounds like Revan is definitely going to play into this. The interesting thing, though, is the rumor I heard is Revan doesn't just play into the Old Republic. He plays into the High Republic. And it makes me wonder if they're going to go with the storyline. We know what happened to Revan at the end of the Revan novel, which was their take on KOTOR 3, basically. And we knew he was stuck in stasis for 300 years. We know that they're moving Knights of the Old Republic up in the timeline, so it's not 4,000 years before anymore. They want to make it a little more realistic, so it might be half that. Is it possible he spent 1,000 years, in stasis or frozen or whatever, and like we might actually physically see him in the movie?
There we go, just rehashing the same shit.
But
they've already done.
It's the same shit to diehards, but to non-diehards who have never played a Star Wars story video game, completely new.
I think a lot of the diehards would be okay with a time adjustment if it meant that they stayed on the more faithful side. But I mean, I'm also we've talked about this already. I am so apprehensive with the Knights of the Old Republic stuff. Like, even with the remake, I'm so skeptical. They're going to take player agency away from us. They're going to force Revan down one force path instead of allowing us to decide on things, because they want to stick it to a narrative that matches what they're writing into these movies. And it's so frustrating as a diehard fan to know that they're going to force us into a different route than what our headcanon has been for 20 years.
Oh,
you know?
and it'll be
And-
hard to like leave that out when judging the movie too.
Yeah, I'm already skeptical about that. That's the one thing I can't get my hype up for. I'm going
No
in
matter
with
what you do,
almost
I don't think
lower
fans are going to be
expectations.
happy with what they get for the old Knights of the Old Republic. I
It's
don't.
been hyped
I
too long.
think there's
It's
gonna- yeah.
dangerous.
Oh, it's very dangerous, but it's still.
But I'd rather have something than nothing.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what I have to keep reminding myself. And I think I say this like 4 or 5 times whenever I'm on here. Opinions will differ. As long as you respect everyone for their opinion and understand that, you know what, like, that is theirs, it doesn't hurt your own opinion and your ability to have one. Right?
Give that some horns.
I'm going in skeptical, with the back of my head being like, you're really hopeful. What do you mean you're skeptical? Like, I got the two narratives going on in my head, but like,
I'll say this, and again, bear with me here because I've not read the High Republic. But when I think of the Old Republic, and I think, okay, do I want 3 movies of the Old Republic, or a movie of the Old Republic, or would I want even 4 8-episode or 5 8-episode seasons at 35 to 40 minutes apiece? Obviously, I'd want more than that, but I would rather the TV series, if I'm honest, because the TV series offers you a chance to build multiple characters, build ensembles more than the lack of screen time they would all get in the theatrical release. That said, trust me, even though the last movie I seen in theaters for Star Wars is The Rise of Skywalker, I have an appetite to see a Star Wars movie in the cinema, and a lot of people do. I just think they need to pick the right thing. And it does seem like they've gone away from their one-off idea. Sounded like they wanted to do a bunch of one-offs, and now it sounds like they want to tell a long-term story. The
TV shows are working for them. That's what you said. Disney Plus's TV shows seem to be a formula that's working in Disney's favor. I've heard from so many new fans of Star Wars because of the TV shows. People who it was just more accessible. The idea of a Star Wars movie links together with a saga that they're like, now I have to watch all the movies. MCU is dealing with the same issue. A lot of my students who don't, in quotes, like Marvel, they say, I don't like Marvel. What they really are saying after they expand on it is, I haven't watched the movies yet, and if I start one now, I won't understand what's going on. Sure they will. It's a standalone story. Shang-Chi was a standalone story. It's going to continue into some other stuff now, but my students who don't watch it are like, it's just because I haven't watched all of Phase 1, right? And I think that the Star Wars TV shows prevented that mentality from happening for a lot of people. And they were like, Star Wars TV show, I'll give it a try now.
I think they nailed it with The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Well, Baby Yoda.
Yeah, well, that too, right? And good job on them for keeping that secret.
Yeah.
And even the Luke one, they found a way to stop leaks, even though some still sound like, if they have stopped leaks altogether, then all the information that's out there is wrong. But I don't think that's the case. By the way, not to be all doom and gloom with people, at the top we started doom. Here's gloom for you. D23 is next week. I know there were some people that thought that maybe it wasn't. D23 is next week. Does it mean it's going to stream? No, not necessarily, but you could get some stuff from that. I fully expect. I know, at least according to others, there's a Crimson Dawn TV show in the works. And who's the lead in that? It's animated. The lead is Maul. It's a Maul show.
Yeah.
So
remember when Solo came out?
Yeah.
The last thing I said, man, we can get Crimson Dawn with Maul, and everyone's like, no, they killed Maul. I'm like, they've killed Maul twice now. They've killed him thrice now. I don't care. We want Crimson Dawn with Maul. I just watched Solo again last month, and that was the thing that I was like, Crimson Dawn with Maul. That's got to happen. There's no way they would tease that without somebody in the back of Disney being working in a even in like a supplies closet, storyboarding on the wall in the dark.
I'm totally down for it. I think Sam Witwer is fucking fantastic as Maul too. So
for some reason, Zon Consortium has been in the front of my mind lately. The Zon Consortium, the Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
Is that coming back somewhere in Book of Boba Fett? Did I read that somewhere? No, this is all conjecture. For some reason, it's in my head again.
It sounds like that they might be going that route. I know I threw out there, could you see Talon Card pop up in the Book of Boba Fett? Because it sounds like
my God.
Like, I would be over the moon. So many possibilities to play that character.
Zon Consortium outside of... Because Zon Consortium... The Zon hasn't been in Star Wars since the Edge of the Empire expansion strategy game. That was 2004.
I was going to say, was he
6?
in anything else besides the Forces of Corruption expansion to Empire at War?
I don't think so, but he was a wicked character.
He was cool. I love that
Yeah.
game. That's a great game. But
and still, and again, this is something, man, this makes me really happy because I remember a year ago, Sean, I was saying this. Zon Consortium, the Forces of Corruption, the Star Wars Empire at War, not Edge of the Empire, Star Wars Empire War, Edge of the Empire is the tabletop. Empire at War, with full support from Petroglyph after EA lost their license. Petroglyph opened up mod support and gave an update to the game officially supporting it. Nice. And I was like, cool, Empire at War is still alive. I'm sure this has to do with something in the future of Star Wars. Yo, if they start bringing in the Zon Consortium, I am so ready for an Empire at War 2. I'm so ready for that.
It would
now that's getting my hypes up, but strategy games are coming back.
I want to take one more question here before we get out of here. Talking Star Wars, do you think we'll hear about 2023's movie then? I would say after how many misses there were today from the insiders, I'm not positive we're going to get a 2023 replacement movie. I'm pretty damn sure we're getting the Old Republic and the High Republic, but those might be 2025 and 27, or if they go back to the yearly releases, it could be 24 and 25. The thing that struck me odd is on the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron thing, they said it was scheduling conflicts. Basically, everybody and their uncle reported that it's not scheduling. It's money with Warner Brothers and just creativity differences with Kathleen Kennedy. And that's not me throwing her under the bus or anything, because it could have been Patty Jenkins and the bad one. Who knows? But I don't think we're going to see that movie, period. And at least not with her doing it, I don't think. And if they were already so far along in pre-production of that one, or at least they acted like they were, how do you have another movie that we haven't even had officially announced ready to go on the same timeline would be my question. I would think that if they're going for 2023, we're going to hear it very soon. And if they're not, then it could be an even longer wait before we see a Star Wars movie in the cinemas. I hope not. But my God, if they're going to do a High Republic movie first, followed up by an old Republic movie, don't rush it. Do it right, please. Yeah. Because if you fuck up something new on your first shot, and it is new to the general public, that's it. It's done. You guys think we're still going to get something in 2023? Do you think the wait's longer?
If we get 2023, we're not going to hear about it until Q3 2022. If that. I don't think we're going to hear... I think that the silence yesterday / today has been directly related to the idea that, releasing information too soon has blown them in the face a few times. And at this point, sit back, get things under wraps, quality versus quantity, make sure the quality's there before you even say something.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping for. Right? I just think it's the smarter move.
Even though it sucks to not, because think about it, we had the sequel trilogy, Solo, Rogue Squadron, and technically back then Boba Fett,
Rogue
all
One?
announced at once. We were supposed to
Rogue
get
Squadron, yeah.
6 movies. We ended up getting 5 of them, but they were all announced at once. And they managed to find a way to get it done. And I would say the last 3 releases are questionable. But the first 2 releases were fucking phenomenal. And they still managed to get to the finish line on those movies, like them or not. You would like to think that they can do something similar to that, but because of all the canceled projects and delayed projects and drama, I think you're right, Ian, when you say they might wait as long as they can. And the real question is the stagecraft technology you see on The Mandalorian, do you think that that's usable for a big screen movie? Because if you do, then they can do pre-production on all of this shit way ahead of time and have the turnaround for it be a lot less because of the stagecraft technology? Or is it just going to be a Disney Plus thing?
I think stagecraft technology is amazing. I think it's come really far already. I think depending on the movie, depending on the setting, depending on the production, it's very capable of doing just that. A Rogue Squadron, that's just cockpits. Like, yeah, that's perfect. That's designed for that. You know, I think jumping around on a planet in a lightsaber duel like Mustafar, I want to say that's not as designed for it, but then Phantom Menace on Naboo in the battle of in Theed against Darth Maul, the duel, that was all blue screen sets, right? Like that again, it worked, right? So I can only be hopeful that with technology going forward the way it is, like Mandalorian was beautiful,
I thought so.
right?
Again,
Revolutionary.
It was. If they found a way to do it again.
The water mechanics when they pulled the ship out of the water, like the water effect alone. Yeah, revolutionary is a good word for it. It looked like it was a scale model, and they didn't do scale.
The one thing they do with the Mandalorian so well, is they don't just rely on CG for the ships.
Yeah.
They actually do it old model style. And let me tell you, you could take any new Star Wars movie that came out outside of Rogue One, and the space shit we see in those movies is nowhere near as cool as what we see in The Mandalorian, because it's what we're used to. It's the way it should look. To me, the sequel trilogy was just like, okay, everything's in fast forward, and you've just duplicated a bunch of shit, and
Yeah,
I don't need to see 10 billion other people go against 10 billion other people, and it just looks messy and terrible. And this is why I love Dune. Dune was great.
that's something we could talk about another time. Yeah, well, ILM, right? Scale model, that's their thing, right? And
they never should have got rid of it.
Yeah.
Tommy, what about you, man? 2023 or nah?
It's too close. I feel like we would know more about it by this point. I mean, with what we've been hearing about it getting pushed back and so on and so forth, I don't see it happening at this point. I hope I'm wrong.
I don't know if I hope you're wrong. Again, I want them to relax.
Just don't rush shit out.
Yeah,
just
that's
don't push shit.
Yeah, that's all I'm hoping for.
Don't screw it up, which is, you can, as George Lucas once said, you can ruin these things.
Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. I'm cautiously optimistic for all the small screen stuff, because there's so much coming. We told you everything in 2022. We didn't even get to the stuff in 2023, which includes The Acolyte, more Mando, and Ahsoka. So
before we wrap things up, talking about The Acolyte, one of the big pushes with 7.0 Star Wars The Old Republic's combat upgrade is the fact that they have reintroduced a balanced force combat style. You are allowed to actually take a dark side user and actually class yourself as a Jedi, and likewise Jedi using like Sith Juggernaut, Sith Inquisitor powers. If you pick one of each, it actually lists yourself as balanced between the Force, which is amazing, because the Old Republic is not on its own without having to be properly certified in Star Wars canon. And at this point moving forward, that could be the first official statement of saying, hey, Grey Jedi, without putting the title on it. I'm hopeful. It's in PTS right now, the public testing server. If that launches like that, that's wicked news.
That'd be awesome,
especially for something like Acolyte. Yeah,
that'd be badass. Let's leave it on this note. It feels fitting to go out with this one. Knights of the Old Republic. They're calling it a remake. For all intents and purposes, it is, but it's not the same game. It's not the same ending. Things have changed. I think you go past KOTOR in this. It sounds like. Are we hyped about this, or are we nervous? I'm excited, but boy, am I nervous because Star Wars video games for me are nowhere close to where they used to be.
I'm gonna crush it in a weekend. I'll have to get back to you after that. I'm going in no expectations.
Nice, Tommy Bizzle.
That says a lot.
Fuck, man.
I think I have the right slide for this.
Yep.
I don't even know what the fuck to say. Like, really.
Don't screw it up. It's not EA, so that's a plus.
Yeah, I mean, the golden age of Star Wars gaming, I forget who said it first, who called it that first, but, that's long behind us. I've liked some of the stuff they've come out with in recent years, but it doesn't measure up. It doesn't. So.
You know what would make a good TV series? Knights of the Old Republic 2. The whole, the Paragus mining facility, it's all abandoned. It's like, it almost plays it like a horror movie. Like, you could really take that game and make it 6, 7, 8 seasons of an amazing TV show. Oh, it's never going to happen, but I can dream. Anyways, that's going to do it for us tonight. We know Ian's got to go, and I got to go myself. So, dude, hopefully we can do this a lot sooner next time. Actually, who knows what drops next week? Maybe there's some massive news at D23. You heard it here. They're announcing the Knights of the Old Republic TV series next week at D23. Officially, no, I'm kidding.
Oh, stop that shit.
I'm kidding. Although, Matt, could you imagine? Then it would be like, yes, but go start shooting so I can assume it's actually going to happen. Would approach everything so cynically. Yeah, but hopefully we see it again soon.
We're jaded. It's okay. We're old.
No, it was fun doing this. What are you looking forward to most as you get off air here? I don't think you do the whole social media thing, right?
No, not really. No. What am I looking forward to most? I was looking forward to Rogue Squadron. I was. I love fighters, man. I actually, you know what? I just picked up the Philips Hue system for the smart lighting, and I got that all set up behind my monitors. I put on the Battle of Coruscant last night in the dark with the lighting system. I don't think I need a movie theater ever again. I am just looking for some nice, high visual, fun Star Wars because it is gorgeous with backlighting. That's what I'm looking forward to. Just eye candy at this point. If they can stick to the story, I'll be happy.
Nothing wrong with that. Tommy B, where can everybody find you at, man?
Oh, around all of our fun Facebook places like the Fandom Empire Den and the Star Wars Fandom Facebook group. And my Twitter and Instagram at TommyB1650. Yay.
You can check us out Patreon, like it's listed below, patreon.com/Fandom Empire. Go check out our Star Wars channel. It would not let us stream there tonight, which is why we're on Fandom Empire. I guess your first live stream requires a 24-hour setup period, so I did not know that. So go type in Star Wars Fandom in the YouTube search bar, please, and click the subscribe button. You'll be able to catch us now and then over there. Lots of good stuff coming. And don't forget, according to Tommy B, the Timothy Zahn film trilogy is happening for real. They're getting rid of...
Oh, knock that shit off. I did not say that shit.
I'm just fucking with them. But man, tell you what, fellas. Just finished Last Command. Just finished Last Command. No, sorry. Dark Force Rising. I started Last Command. This will be like my third time listening to it in 7 or 8 years. Those stories are fantastic, and I'm not sure why Lucas never went with them. Missed opportunity when all those guys and gals were younger. Anyways, people, we'll see you next time. Expectations, keep them in check next week.
Always keep them in check.